Family finances take centre stage as the Conservatives and Labour trade blows over taxation. David Cameron promises a law to ensure no rise in income tax, VAT or national insurance for the next 5 years. Ed Miliband pledges to raise tax credits in line with inflation every year if he wins power.
No government led by me as Prime Minister will cut the tax credits that working people rely on.
I say working people in this country have paid enough tax. As this economy recovers, I want you to be able to keep more of your own money to spend as you choose. That is the choice.
Good evening and welcome to the BBC News at 6. Labour and the Conservatives have been trading blows over taxation. The Prime Minister has promised a law to ensure there will be no rise in income tax, VAT and national insurance for the next 5 years if the Conservatives win the election. Labour dismissed the law as a gimmick and announced that they, if they were in power, would raise tax credits in line with inflation. In a moment, our economics editor Robert Peston will be looking at the figures, but first here's our deputy political editor James Landell.
Elections often boil down to who voters trust. And that's what these two are looking for. David Cameron wants to be trusted not to raise taxes. Ed Miliband that he'll protect tax credits. So today the Prime Minister promised a new law that would ban a future government from raising income tax, VAT and national insurance rates for 5 years. He also ruled out a national insurance hike for higher rate taxpayers.
Working people in this country have paid enough tax. As this economy recovers, I want you to be able to keep more of your own money to spend as you choose. That is the choice. Take-home pay going up with the Conservatives or take-home pay going down because they put up your taxes with Labour.
Like any law, this so-called tax lock could be overturned by Parliament at any time, and economists worried it would make it harder to deal with future economic shocks. And
why should voters trust you not to raise taxes when you yourself are admitting that your word is no longer good enough, that you have to rely on a law to be believed?
So this will be a law. This is a guarantee because I know what needs to be done.
Labour dismissed all this as a gimmick. The Tories, they said, were refusing to make similar promises to protect tax credits and instead had a secret plan to cut them by almost £4 billion, something Tory ministers denied. As for Labour themselves, they had their own announcement.
No government led by me as Prime Minister will cut the tax credits that working people rely on. Instead, we'll raise them, at least in line with inflation in every budget. And we reject the Tory plans to attack child benefit.
Labour's also promised not to raise national insurance, VAT and income tax, apart from returning the top rate to 50p. But why have they not ruled out other potential tax rises?
The difference between us and the Tories is that we have said we'll have a mansion tax on the most expensive homes above £2 million. We have said that we'll reverse David Cameron's tax cut for millionaires.
The Liberal Democrat leader said welfare spending had to be capped at 1% for another 2 years to balance the books. And as for tax,
the Liberal Democrat plans don't involve any increase in national insurance, VAT, headline corporation tax rates or income tax rates.
But which of these will voters trust? Workers at the car parts factory, where David Cameron spoke, said they trusted politicians on the basis of their record, not new laws.
I'm not sure a law makes a difference. Laws can be changed.
You don't trust all of them all the time, but you've got to trust one of them if you're going to tick on the box.
Again, like Pete says, it'd be better if you know they come from the same as us. You know, they've grown up with hard times and things like that.
I'm not anti-David Cameron like a lot of Labour people are, but I still believe more in what Ed Miliband will do.
Over the last 5 years, are you better off now than what you were then? And the answer is yes.
Obviously with Cameron, you've got the track record of what he's done in the last 5 years, so you can really judge him on that. But if I want to change and trust somebody else, then I might go for Miliband.
We live in an age when many voters here on the shop floor and elsewhere struggle to trust politicians. There have just been too many broken promises. But in this election it is even harder because voters know that promises could be broken again if no one party wins the election outright and deals have to be done with other parties. James Landell, BBC News in Birmingham.